Assalamu alaikum and very good morning, children. As you know that we have already started new poem The Shed, which is written by Franklin in our last video. In our last video, we have completed short summary of the poem and reading and singing. Today we'll see the explanation of the poem. But before move to the explanation, once again I'd say you what is a shed. Shed means a small covered space for dumping goods, keeping cattle, vehicles, etc. It's a small room away from the main house for storing or keeping things, animals, tools, vehicles. So this is known as shed. I hope that you have seen it near your house or in your own garden. Now let's move to our poem explanation. So look at here, first stanza of the poem. That's a shed at the bottom of our garden with a spider's web hanging across the door. Here, the speaker of the poem saying about the shed which was in his garden. Bottom of our garden means lower part of their garden with a spider's web hanging across the door. Hardly anybody goes inside the shed. Therefore, spider's web means cobweb hanging across the door. The hinges are rusty and creak in the wind. When I'm in bed, I lie and I listen. I'll open that door one day. The hinges means joints of the door, are rusty and creak in the wind. Rusty means old and having rust. So here the joints of the doors, as you can see in the picture, it's known as hinges, the joints of the doors. Creak means make a sharp sound. Means the joints of the door become old and rusty, having rust. So when the wind is passing, it makes a sharp sound. When I'm in bed, I lie and I listen. When the speaker is peacefully lying on the bed, he sometimes hears noises from the shed. I'll open that door one day. The poet wished to be able to open the door of the shed one day. So, dear children, in this first stanza, we have seen that the location of the shed is at the bottom of the garden. A spider's web is seen hanging across the door. When the wind blows, the creaking sound of the rusty hinges attracts the poet's attention. The poet is in a relaxed mood as he is now on bed and plans to satisfy his curiosity to see what is hidden inside the shed. Here we have second stanza. That's a dusty old window around at the side with 3 cracked panes of glass. I often think there's someone staring at me each time that I pass. I'll peep through that window one day. That's a dusty old window. Dusty means covered with dust. The shed has a dusty old window on its side with 3 cracked panes of glass. Cracked means broken and panes of glass means sheet glass cut in shapes for windows or doors. The broken glass panes of the dusty window suggested lack of maintenance, means nobody went inside the shade. So, cleaning the shade was a distant possibility. I often think that someone's staring at me each time that I pass. Whenever the poet passes through the shade, he gets a feeling as if someone was staring at him. Someone was continuously watching. Staring means to look continuously without the wink of eyes, as you can see in the picture. That there is no wink of eyes. Continuously watching something. So the speaker is feeling as if someone was staring at him. I'll peep through that window one day. Peep means look quickly at something. The poet wished to peep inside the window, inside the shade one day. So in this second stanza, we had seen that the window that is quite old is covered with dust. Even the 3 glass panes are seen cracked, seen broken. The poet thinks that someone is staring at him whenever he happens to pass the shade. He is sure that one day he will peep through the broken window to satisfy his curiosity. Now look at stanza 3. My brother says that's a ghost in the shade who hides under the rotten floorboards. And if I ever dare to set foot inside, he'll jump out and chop off my head. But I take a peek one day. My brother says that's a ghost in the shade. The poet's brother talks about the presence of the ghost inside the shade, the presence of the spirit inside the shade, who hides under the rotten floorboards. And what is the poet's brother telling him here? That a ghost hides under the rotten floorboards. And if I ever dare to set foot inside, he'll jump out and chop off my head. Chop off means cut off my head. Here the poet's brother warns him that if he went inside the shade, the ghost would jump on him and cut off his head. But I take a peek one day. Peek means also look in. However, this does not much frighten the poet. He still wished to one day step inside the shade and see for himself. So in this third stanza, the poet's brother tells him that there is a ghost in the shade who lives under the rotten floorboards. If the poet accidentally steps over them, the ghost will jump out and cut off his head. The poet is partially frightened, but he does not completely believe his brother and has a plan to look through the broken window one day. Now here the last stanza, stanza 4. I know that there isn't really a ghost. My brother tells lies to keep the shade for his den. There isn't anyone staring or making strange noises, and the spider has been gone from his web. Since I don't know when, I'll go into that shade one day soon, but not just yet. I know that there isn't really a ghost. Here we can see that the poet is able to overcome his fears. He is able to understand that there is no ghost inside the shade. My brother tells lies to keep the shade for his den. His brother had been telling him lies because he wanted to retain the shade for his own self. Den means for the hiding place. He understands that there is actually nobody inside the shade. There isn't anyone staring or making strange noises. Here the poet understands that there isn't anyone who's staring me or making noises, who stares at him or makes those strange noises. And the spider has been gone from his web. Since I don't know when, I'll go into that shade one day soon, but not just yet. The spider too is no longer there. Therefore, very soon, the poet would be able to set in foot inside the shade. However, he says that this can't happen immediately, but not just yet, means not now, not immediately. So, dear students, tell me what you learned by this poem. Actually, the poem teaches us that we should not believe in baseless and imaginative stories about ghosts and other supernatural creatures, as these stories are mostly used by people for their own benefit. Children and young adults, therefore, should not believe in irrational beings like ghosts and various superstitions associated with them. Here, the poet successfully establishes these ideas through the characters. The poet's brother, telling a story about a ghost inhabiting the shade in order to prevent the poet from entering the shade and to keep the shade all to himself. The poet in the beginning starts believing him and imagines that someone staring at him. However, at last, he does not believe him, and he decided very confidently to enter into the shade one day. So children, I hope that this poem is very clear to you. Now you have to complete the poem in your CW, and after you have to write the glossary in your CW. And if you have any doubts related to this poem, you can write in the comment box. Thank you. Have a nice day.